There is a video that has been viewed more than 40 million times in the past 6 hours. A video that every military analyst, every defense procurement officer, and every alliance manager in every NATO country is watching on repeat this Monday morning. And the video shows something that the American military said was impossible until the moment it happened. The video shows a United States Air Force F-15E Strike Eagle, a fourth-generation $30 million air superiority fighter equipped with the most sophisticated friend or foe identification system in the history of aerial warfare, falling out of the sky over Al-Jarrah, Kuwait, on fire, in pieces, shot down by an American-supplied Patriot battery operated by an American ally, while flying in support of an American operation. During a war that America started 72 hours ago, 3 American fighter jets were mistakenly shot down by Kuwaiti air defenses in a friendly fire incident late Sunday, the Pentagon said. All 6 service members on the F-15E Strike Eagles ejected safely, were recovered, and are in stable condition. During active combat, that included attacks from Iranian aircraft, ballistic missiles, and drones, the U.S. Air Force fighter jets were mistakenly shot down by Kuwaiti air defenses, CENTCOM said in a statement. 3 F-15E Strike Eagles, 3 aircraft worth $90 million combined. 3 aircraft carrying 6 American aviators who had to eject from burning jets over a country that is technically America's ally, shot down not by Iranian surface-to-air missiles, not by Iranian fighter jets, not by any Iranian weapon system, shot down by Kuwaiti Patriot batteries, batteries that America designed, batteries that America sold to Kuwait, batteries that America's own military maintains and trains Kuwaiti operators to use, firing at American jets in American-operated airspace during an American military campaign. The incident shows how chaotic the air war with Iran has become as allies defend against Iranian attacks while American jets fly through the same airspace. Chaotic. Axios used that word. Not complex, not challenging. Chaotic, meaning the operational coordination architecture that America built across the Gulf over 30 years, the architecture of shared air traffic management and integrated air defense and identification systems and communication protocols, broke down in real time over Al-Jarrah at the specific moment when Kuwait's Patriot batteries were simultaneously tracking Iranian drones. Iranian ballistic missiles and 3 American F-15s flying through the same airspace at the same altitude on intersecting vectors. The IFF system. Identification? Friend or foe, the transponder technology built into every NATO-compatible aircraft specifically to prevent this exact scenario, did not prevent it. 6 American aviators are alive because their ejection seats functioned. 3 aircraft are debris fields in the Kuwaiti desert, and the war is now on day 3 with Trump announcing it could last 4 to 5 weeks, or longer. President Trump said the war was the last best chance of addressing the threat posed by Iran's ballistic missiles and nuclear program, and that the campaign could last 4 to 5 weeks, with the capability to go far longer than that. He told the New York Post he will not rule out sending ground troops into Iran if necessary. 4 to 5 weeks. The man who planned a 4 to 5 day operation has just told the New York Post it could last 4 to 5 weeks, with the capability to go far longer. And he will not rule out ground troops. In a country of 90 million people, on the other side of the Zagros Mountains, with the American military's intercept stockpiles already depleting faster than they can be replenished, with 3 F-15s just turned into debris by an ally's Patriot battery, with a death toll of 4 confirmed American soldiers and climbing. This is not the plan. This is what happens after the plan fails. The source document today focuses on a weapon that appeared in Iranian state media footage on Monday morning, a weapon whose deployment in this conflict changes the operational calculus for every defense system currently active in the Gulf, in Israel, and aboard every American carrier in the region. The weapon is the Sejil. And if you know what the Sejil is, you understand immediately why every American military commander who has studied Iran's arsenal spent the past decade hoping it would never be deployed in combat. Iran's army said it had used 15 cruise missiles in its latest attacks on a U.S. facility. But cruise missiles are the baseline. What has now appeared in IRGC footage is something different. A solid fuel, 2-stage ballistic missile with a range of 2,000 kilometers, a speed of Mach 14 to 16 at re-entry, and a maneuvering warhead that makes it significantly harder to intercept than the standard Shahab series Iran has been firing for 2 days. The Sejil is not a new weapon. Iran has been developing it since the 2000s. What is new is its first confirmed combat deployment on day 3 of a war that America planned to end on day 4 or 5. The timing of its deployment tells you something about Iran's operational sequencing. Day 1 and 2, exhaust American and Gulf interceptor stocks with Shahab ballistic missiles, Shahed drones, and cruise missiles. Day 3, introduce Sejil. Day 4, the interceptors America has left are fewer, the batteries are partially depleted, and a Mach 15 maneuvering warhead is incoming with no reliable intercept solution. Iran not dead yet, reportedly using electronic warfare in crucial Strait of Hormuz. America's elite GBU-57 bunker busters are running on fumes, exposing how Washington's shock and awe ops to destroy Tehran's ballistic arsenal are facing insurmountable obstacles in the face of a network of underground fortresses. Electronic warfare in the Strait of Hormuz. That development, reported Monday morning alongside the Kuwait friendly fire incident, connects the two events in a way the American military has not yet publicly acknowledged. The IFF failure that caused Kuwait's Patriot batteries to shoot down 3 American F-15s is consistent with the electronic environment that Iran has been creating over Kuwaiti airspace for the past 72 hours. GPS jamming, communications interference, transponder spoofing. Not necessarily that Iran jammed the F-15's IFF transponders. The investigation is ongoing. But the question that every American military aviation expert is now asking internally is whether the chaotic electronic environment Iran has created contributed to the breakdown in identification that turned 3 American jets into debris over Al-Jarrah. China's foreign minister called his Iranian counterpart on Monday with a message that makes the electronic warfare dimension significantly more alarming. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer said the UK government does not believe in regime change from the skies after a joint US-Israeli military operation killed Iran's supreme leader. This government does not believe in regime change from the skies. The lessons of history have taught us that it is important when we make decisions like this that we establish there is a lawful basis for what the United Kingdom is doing. Regime change from the skies. The British Prime Minister, the leader of America's closest military ally, the country whose RAF Akrotiri base in Cyprus was struck by an Iranian drone, the country whose Prime Minister approved American use of British bases for the operation, told the House of Commons that Britain does not believe in regime change from the skies. That sentence, delivered in Parliament while the war was ongoing, is the most significant rupture in the Anglo-American alliance since the 2003 Iraq War. Starmer did not withdraw British support, but he publicly separated Britain's position from the operation's stated goal. And when America's closest ally separates itself from your operation's stated goal while the operation is on day 3, that is not a diplomatic nuance. That is a warning. The U.S.-flagged oil tanker, the Stena Imperative, was hit by Iranian drone or missile fire on Monday, according to Reuters. According to Vanguard, 2 Iranian projectiles hit the ship in the port of Bahrain, causing a fire that was extinguished and forcing the evacuation of the crew. A second American-flagged tanker hit, the Skylight burning off Oman. The Stena Imperative evacuated in the port of Bahrain. 3 F-15s down over Kuwait. 4 Americans confirmed dead. The Sejil in the air. Electronic warfare in the Strait. Ras Laffan silent. Ras Tanura shut. Britain separating from the operation's stated goal. And Trump telling the New York Post the war could last 4 to 5 weeks, with the capability to go far longer. There's a number that Trump announced Monday morning that is the single most consequential piece of information released by the American government since the 2:30 a.m. Truth Social video that started this war. And it is not the casualty count, not the tanker count, and not the target count. The number is 9. U.S. President Donald Trump announced Sunday that 9 Iranian naval ships have been sunk as part of combat operations. 9 Iranian naval vessels sunk in 72 hours in a body of water, the Persian Gulf, that is 989 kilometers long and 56 kilometers wide at its narrowest point. 9 vessels sunk means 9 wreck sites, 9 oil slicks, 9 debris fields, 9 sets of radar signatures that every ship navigating the Gulf must now treat as navigational hazards. 9 vessels sunk means the Iranian Navy's surface fleet has taken losses that no naval force has absorbed in a single engagement since the Falklands War in 1982. And 9 vessels sunk means Iran has now lost whatever residual capability it had to enforce its conditional strait closure through surface naval power, which means enforcement shifts entirely to mines, submarines, shore-based anti-ship missiles, and the drones that have already found the Skylight and the Stena Imperative. But Trump announced those 9 ships while simultaneously telling the New York Post the war could last 5 weeks. That combination, 9 enemy ships sunk and still no end in sight, is the operational description of a war that is consuming assets on both sides faster than either can replace them, whose endpoint remains undefined, and whose original 4 to 5 day timeline has been extended by a factor of 7 by the same man who announced it. More than 70 missiles and drones have hit the city of Erbil in northern Iraq, Foreign Minister Fuad Hussein said on Monday, with additional attacks in the south and west of the country. Iraq's foreign minister said Iraq had become a victim of this war and had come under attack by various parties involved in the conflict. Iraq has become a victim of this war. 70 missiles and drones hitting Erbil, Iraq's foreign minister using the word victim, not ally, not participant, not partner, but victim, to describe his country's position in a war that American jets are flying from Iraqi airspace to strike Iranian targets. Iraq, which spent 20 years recovering from the last American military operation on its soil, is watching its cities absorb 70 missiles and drones in a single day because it sits between America's launch points and Iran's targets. Its foreign minister's use of the word victim is the precise legal and diplomatic framing of a country preparing to demand that American forces leave. The strikes have killed at least 11 people in Israel, and the Iranian Red Crescent says 555 people have been killed in Iran. Masoud Pezeshkian, the president of Iran, said on social media Monday that attacks on hospitals strike at life itself, and attacks on schools target a nation's future. 555 Iranians confirmed dead by the Red Crescent. 11 Israelis dead. 4 Americans dead. 1 seafarer dead on the Skylight. 1 Asian national dead from missile fragments in Abu Dhabi. Children pulled from rubble in Beit Shemesh. 108 girls dead in a school in Minab. The cumulative human cost of 72 hours of Operation Epic Fury before Hezbollah's full arsenal is committed, before the Houthis fully escalate, before Iran deploys whatever it has not yet deployed, is already the largest loss of life in the Middle East since the 2006 Lebanon War. And Trump will not rule out ground troops. The Joint Chiefs Chairman told the American public to prepare for significantly more casualties. The Pentagon chief told Trump to end the war fast because missiles are running low. Britain's Prime Minister told Parliament Britain doesn't believe in regime change from the skies. 3 F-15s are debris in Kuwait. The sigil is in the air. The Stena Imperative was evacuated in Bahrain. Ras Laffan is silent. European gas is up 50%. And the war that was planned for 4 to 5 days is now a 4 to 5 week campaign, with the capability, Trump says, to go far longer than that. The F-15 that burned over Al-Jara this morning, the aircraft that every Kuwaiti watching the sky at dawn saw spiral toward the desert in flames, was shot down by the same defensive system that was supposed to protect the operation that sent it there. That image, replayed 40 million times on social media before breakfast, is the operational summary of Day 3 of Operation Epic Fury. America's weapons firing at America's aircraft in America's allies' airspace during America's war, while Iran's Sejil missiles climbed a Mach 15 and the world's largest LNG facility sits silent at Ras Laffan. Share this video to every contact you have right now. 3 American F-15s were shot down by Kuwait's Patriot batteries. Friendly fire. Trump says the war could last 5 weeks. 9 Iranian ships sunk and still no endpoint. The Sejil missile is in the air. Iraq says it has become a victim. Britain says it doesn't believe in regime change from the skies. And 555 Iranians are confirmed dead, with Hezbollah, the Houthis, and Iran's reserve arsenal still not fully committed.